Welcome to your deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
Today, are going back to 1963.
Okay.
Specifically to the aftermath of the JFK assassination.
Mm-hmm.
You've given us some pretty intriguing articles focusing on dissent.
Yeah.
Within the Warren Commission.
Right.
You know, the group tasked with investigating the assassination.
Right.
Get this. We're talking about dissent surrounding the infamous single bullet theory.
Oh, wow.
Which attempts to explain how a single bullet could have caused all the non-fatal wounds on both President Kennedy and to Governor Connally.
It's a theory that has sparked debate for decades.
Oh, I bet.
And as you'll see,
Okay.
even some members of the Warren Commission weren't totally convinced.
Wow. Okay, so that's what we're diving into today. The story of Senators Richard Russell and John Sherman Cooper.
Right.
Two prominent figures on the commission who ultimately disagreed with its central findings.
Yeah, and their dissent is especially significant because these weren't just fringe figures. Both Russell and Cooper were highly respected, chosen for the commission because of their reputations, you know, for integrity and sound judgment.
Makes sense.
Senator Russell was a leader among Southern Democrats, while Senator Cooper was known as a moderate Republican.
All right, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Okay.
If they were so well respected, how do we know they disagreed with the single bullet theory? It's not like they held a press conference, you know, denouncing the findings.
No. Their dissent was much more subtle, even hidden to some extent. One key piece of evidence is a 1968 memo from Russell's assistant, Charles Campbell. And in this memo, Campbell clearly states Russell's disbelief in the single bullet theory. But what makes this even more intriguing is that Campbell based his assessment on the research of Harold Weisberg.
Hold on, are we talking about the Harold Weisberg?
Yes.
The one that the FBI considered one of the most knowledgeable people on the assassination.
That's right.
But refused to help with his document request.
Yes.
Oh, man, that just adds fuel to the fire.
Exactly. Campbell, who was no stranger to legal and investigative matters, researched Weisberg's work thoroughly. Found it to be scholarly and compelling. Especially regarding the number of shots fired in Dealey Plaza.
Yeah. So that adds serious weight to Russell's position then.
It does.
Yeah. Okay. But we're still relying on a memo from an assistant here.
Right.
Did Russell himself ever put his objections down in writing?
He did.
Okay.
He prepared a personal statement for a September 18, 1964 executive session of the Warren Commission. Where he very plainly stated, I do not share the findings of the commission as to the probability that both President Kennedy and Governor Connally were struck by the same bullet.
Wow. That's pretty direct.
Yes, it is.
All right. So we've got Russell on the record.
Yes.
What about Senator Cooper?
Right.
Was he just going along with Russell?
Yeah.
Or did he genuinely share those concerns?
Cooper was definitely on the same page. Years later, in a 1978 letter, he confirmed his agreement with Russell's opposition to the single bullet theory. But it gets even better.
Really, how?
In an oral history statement given for the Russell Archives, Cooper recalls a conversation with Russell, saying, Senator Russell just said, I'll never sign the report if this commission says categorically that the second shot passed through both of them.
Wow.
I agreed with him.
Okay, so now we have both Russell and Cooper rejecting a theory crucial to the Warren Commission's conclusion that Oswald acted alone.
Right.
This is getting good.
Yes.
Well, hold on. Wasn't the Warren Commission supposed to record all of its executive sessions?
We were supposed to.
So shouldn't there be a transcript of this, like, epic showdown between these senators and the rest of the commission?
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that's where the mystery really deepens.
Yeah. So we're left hanging here.
Yes.
Two senators vehemently disagree with a key finding of the Warren Commission, and there's no record of their objection.
Yes, right.
What happened to the transcript of that September 18th meeting?
Well, it seems that the transcript went missing.
What?
Vanished into thin air.
No way.
And to make matters even more suspicious, the commission's general counsel, J. Lee Rankin, made sure that no court reporter was present for this particular meeting.
Hold up.
Despite the commission's own rules stating that all executive sessions should be recorded.
Wait, are you saying Rankin?
Yes.
A former Solicitor General of the United States?
That's right.
Just decided to ignore established procedures?
It appears so.
And ensure there was no official record of this crucial conversation?
Yes.
What was he thinking?
That's the million-dollar question.
I mean, was Rankin trying to protect the commission's reputation?
It's possible.
Or was there a more calculated motive at play?
We can only speculate.
Whatever his reasoning, the absence of a transcript leaves a giant hole
Yes, it's
in the historical record.
Absolutely.
And raises serious questions about transparency.
For sure.
It's like a scene from a spy movie.
I know.
Crucial evidence disappears.
Right.
A high-ranking official bends the rules. It's all very cloak and dagger.
Very much so.
But if the real transcript is gone,
Yeah.
how do we know what Russell and Cooper were willing to accept?
Well,
Did they just give up and sign the report anyway?
he did sign the report.
Really?
But the so-called compromise included
Yeah.
wasn't what they'd agreed to.
What do you mean?
The report states, although it is not necessary to any essential findings of the commission to determine just which shot hit Governor Connolly, there is persuasive evidence from the experts to indicate that the same bullet which pierced the president's throat also caused Governor Connolly's wounds.
Okay, so the report downplays the importance of which bullet hit Connolly.
Yes.
But doesn't that still support the single bullet theory?
It does.
The very theory Russell and Cooper opposed.
Correct.
So was this language truly a compromise? Or was it a carefully crafted maneuver
It's possible.
by Rankin to silence dissent
Right.
and maintain the illusion of a unanimous report?
That's one interpretation.
So we have a missing transcript,
Yes.
a fabricated compromise,
Right.
and two highly respected senators basically saying the commission got it wrong.
That's right.
But they never went public
No.
with their dissent.
No.
Why not?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Remember, this was 1964,
Right.
the height of the Cold War. The assassination of a president was deeply traumatic.
Of course.
For the nation.
Yeah.
And the idea of a conspiracy was unsettling to many Americans.
So they were worried about causing panic
Possibly.
or undermining public trust in the government.
It's certainly possible.
Okay, so they were patriots
Yes.
who believed in the institutions.
Mm-hmm.
They may have felt that speaking out
Right.
would do more harm than good,
That's a possible explanation.
maybe even destabilize the country
Right.
during a very tense time.
Yes.
So they chose to work within the system,
It seems so.
even if it meant compromising on certain points,
Mm-hmm.
but their silence had to weigh on them.
You would think.
Did they ever express their concerns outside of these closed-door meetings?
Well, their dissent, though, hidden from the public, wasn't entirely in vain.
What do you mean?
Their persistent questioning of the single bullet theory
Mm-hmm.
and the attention they drew to Weisberg's research
Yeah,
helped to keep the controversy alive.
interesting.
In a way, they planted seeds of doubt
Okay.
that would eventually blossom into full-blown investigations
Yeah,
and alternative theories about the assassination.
fascinating. So it's like their silent protest echoed through the years,
Yes.
ultimately shaping our understanding of the JFK assassination.
You could say,
Okay, but I keep coming back to Rankin and his actions.
of course.
What could have motivated him
Mm-hmm.
to go to such lengths
Yeah.
to maintain the appearance of a unified front?
It's hard to say for sure, but let's consider his background.
Yeah.
As a former Solicitor General, Rankin was deeply committed
Okay.
to upholding the law
Uh-huh.
and maintaining order.
Okay.
He may have believed that any hint of dissent
Mm-hmm.
within the commission
Yeah.
would undermine its authority
Okay.
and lead to chaos and instability.
So he saw it as his duty
Possibly.
to present a united front,
Right.
even if it meant manipulating the narrative.
That's one interpretation.
Of course, we can't rule out the possibility
Right.
that Rankin himself genuinely believed in the single bullet theory
It's possible.
and felt that Russell and Cooper were simply mistaken.
Right.
He was, after all, privy to information and evidence
Yeah.
that the public wasn't.
Correct.
But for two such experienced and intelligent men to be so wrong about something so fundamental
Mm-hmm.
seems unlikely, doesn't it?
It does seem unlikely.
Or maybe Rankin felt pressure
It's possible.
from other sources,
Yeah.
perhaps even from within the government,
Right.
to steer the commission toward a specific conclusion.
That's a possibility.
You're saying Rankin might have been trying to prevent
Mm-hmm.
the assassination from being used as a weapon against the United States.
It's certainly a scenario worth considering.
Yeah, it adds another layer of complexity
It does.
to this already intriguing story.
Very much so.
Think about it. We started with what seemed like a simple question.
Right.
Did two senators on the Warren Commission
Mm-hmm.
disagree with the single bullet theory?
Yeah.
And now we've uncovered a web of intrigue,
We have.
hidden agendas,
Right.
and suppressed dissent.
Exactly.
It really makes you wonder how much of what we think we know about history is based on a carefully constructed narrative,
Yes.
rather than the full truth.
It makes you wonder.
This deep dive has certainly opened my eyes.
I'm glad.
But we focused a lot on the dissent itself.
Yes.
What about the substance of their disagreement?
Right.
What convinced these senators that the Warren Commission was on the wrong track? That's where the research of Harold Weisberg comes into play.
It does.
So let's talk about Harold Weisberg,
Okay.
the researcher whose work so heavily influenced Senators Russell and Cooper.
Yes.
What made his research so compelling?
Yeah, Weisberg was a former journalist with a reputation for meticulous research. He had this relentless pursuit of facts, driven by a desire to understand what the evidence truly revealed, not to promote, speculation or far-fetched theories. And he certainly wasn't afraid to challenge the official narrative.
Yeah, I bet.
Even when it meant going up against powerful institutions like the FBI.
You mentioned earlier that Weisberg's work focused heavily on the number of shots fired.
That's right.
What did he find that was so convincing to someone like Senator Russell?
Well, Weisberg argued, based on his analysis of witness testimony, the acoustic evidence and the physical evidence at the scene, that there were at least 4 shots fired in Dealey Plaza, not the 3 that the Warren Commission concluded.
4 shots. So that would mean there had to be at least 2 shooters.
Exactly.
Completely shattering the lone gunman theory.
Yes.
But what about the famous magic bullet?
Right.
The one that supposedly went through President Kennedy and then hit Governor Connolly. Doesn't that account for all the wounds with just 3 shots?
That's what the Warren Commission claimed. But Weisberg, along with many other researchers, argued that the magic bullet theory was physically impossible.
Really?
He pointed to inconsistencies in the bullet's trajectory, the timing of the shots, and the location of the wounds, all suggesting that more than 3 shots had to have been fired.
So Weisberg provided Russell with some powerful ammunition.
He did.
To challenge the commission's findings.
Yes.
Raising doubts about the single bullet theory. And in turn, the entire lone gunman conclusion.
Yes.
But if the single bullet theory is flawed, does that automatically point to a conspiracy?
Not necessarily. Even if we dismiss the single bullet theory, proving a conspiracy is incredibly difficult. Remember, you need to establish not only that the official story is wrong, but also that specific individuals or groups acted together to assassinate President Kennedy.
You can't just shout conspiracy.
Exactly.
You need solid evidence. A clear motive and a chain of events that make sense.
Absolutely.
And that's where things get tricky with the JFK assassination.
Yes.
There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, a lot of what ifs and maybes.
For sure.
But connecting all those dots to definitively prove a conspiracy has eluded researchers for decades.
It has.
So we have these 2 respected senators persuaded by the research of a determined journalist raising serious doubts about a key element of the Warren Commission's conclusions.
Correct.
We have a missing transcript.
We do.
A fabricated compromise.
Yes.
And a whole lot of unanswered questions.
We do.
Why should all of this matter to our listener today?
Well, it's not just about the JFK assassination itself, though that's certainly a captivating case. It's about understanding how history is written, how power can be used to shape narratives, and how dissenting voices can be silenced.
Wow.
It's a reminder that even the most official-sounding reports can be flawed.
It's true.
And that it's our responsibility as engaged citizens to think critically and question what we're told.
Especially when it comes to events of this magnitude.
Absolutely.
It's a call to be active participants in history.
Yes. Not just passive consumers. To look beyond the headlines, the official pronouncements, and really dig deeper.
Exactly. And it's crucial to remember that history is never truly settled.
That's a good point.
New evidence can surface, new perspectives can emerge, and our understanding of the past can shift dramatically.
It's true.
The JFK assassination continues to fascinate.
It does.
And frustrate researchers. And it'll likely remain a subject of debate and speculation.
For sure.
For generations to come.
I think that's an important point.
I agree.
This deep dive has highlighted that even decades later, there's still so much we don't know about this event.
There is.
And it's up to each of us to decide how far down the rabbit hole we want to go.
That's true.
But we shouldn't shy away from asking the tough questions.
No.
From seeking out the dissenting voices. And from acknowledging that the official story might not be the whole story.
This deep dive has been a journey.
It has.
Uncovering a hidden story of courage, conviction, and the relentless pursuit of truth.
Absolutely.
And perhaps most importantly, we've been reminded that history is not a fixed and immutable thing. It's a living, breathing entity.
It is.
That is constantly being shaped and reshaped by new discoveries, new perspectives, and the voices of those who dare to challenge the accepted narrative.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
It's been an eye-opening experience.
I agree. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring.
Yeah.
And never stop searching for the truth.